this is Kim, the Kiwi Health Detective, root cause and lifestyle medicine practitioner. And today, what I want to talk about is the 5 treasures of life. And this comes from my Qigong training. So, most people do not realize that underneath everything that they're seeking, for example, happiness in relationships, a nice job, good money, a nice house, a lovely car, whatever it is that you're seeking, what you're really seeking are these 5 treasures. And as I go through these 5 treasures, you'll see why they are so important to cultivate. And there's a clue here. We actively have to cultivate or grow, just like cultivating a garden. We have to cultivate and grow these 5 treasures. They don't happen automatically. It requires a bit of work. So first of all, let me tell you in brief what these 5 treasures are, and then I will spend a little more time explaining them in more detail. So, the 5 treasures are health, happiness, a sense of well-being, the ability to grow, and contribution. So first of all, let me share a little bit about the purpose of life. Humans have been searching hard to find the answer to this ultimate question. What is the purpose of life? At the root of many problems humans face is a lack of clarity of the purpose of life. In Ren Shui, which is the Qigong system which I've been studying and training in since 2009, the purpose of life is said to be expressed as the Ren Shui High 5, which are these 5 treasures. These 5 treasures are naturally found within each of us, although we do have to cultivate them, as I mentioned before. These 5 treasures provide clear goals and the direction for life cultivation, and they are relevant to every human being, because when these natural treasures manifest and are consistently present, all of humanity and nature will benefit. And I think we can see, if we look at the state of the world today, we are way off track from really where we should be heading. In Taoist terms, we tend to say that we're either following the laws of Tao, the laws of nature, or not. If we follow the laws of nature and the Tao, we will automatically be manifesting these 5 treasures. But if we don't follow the laws of nature and things start to become unnatural and we're breaking the laws of nature and the laws of Tao, then we will manifest less and less these 5 treasures, and we will increase our suffering and our problems. And we have a lot of problems in the world today, which is why it is so important to understand what these 5 treasures are and to start actively and consciously doing what we need to cultivate these 5 treasures. And one of the reasons that we find ourselves in such dire straits worldwide economically is because of the focus on money being a symptom and sign of success. For years now, people have been brought up to think that if you have money and you're wealthy financially, then that is a sign of success. But actually, when it really comes down to it, the true sign of success is to have these 5 treasures. So let's start to look at these 5 treasures in greater depth. And first of all, I'm going to share a brief synopsis of each of these 5 treasures and then go into a little bit more detail. So health. Life consists of 3 main components, and in Qigong we call this Jing, Qi, and Shen. Jing is the physical body, Qi is energy, also energy impregnated with information, I can't go into more detail here about that, but chi is loosely translated as energy, but really energy impregnated with information, which informs everything that goes on in our body, including our mind and our emotions. And Shen is our true self, our higher self, however you tend to label that part of you. So true health means that the body functions well. It means that qi is in a good amount, so we have good energy, we have high quality and a high quantity of energy. And Shen, the true self, is leading the direction of life. We're not led by our ego, we're led by our true self or our higher self. That is, in Ren Shui, what we term good health. Then happiness. True happiness arises spontaneously from a relaxed, calm, and natural state. It is a constantly present, joyous feeling felt in the whole body, as though every cell of the body is smiling. Now, this is very interesting because a lot of people will only feel happy when certain circumstances are met in their life. For example, when their relationship is going well, or when they're earning well, or when their home situation is good. And of course, this is all important, but many people rely on feeling happy due to their circumstances. But true happiness is an inside job. True happiness exists no matter what is going on in our life. In other words, we have the ability, when we're in our natural state, to be in a very joyous state inside, no matter what is going on in our life or even in the world at large. So as you can see, this is maybe a slightly different definition of happiness to what you may have thought happiness is. And very briefly, just to share a few words about a relaxed, calm, and natural state and why this automatically creates a sense of joy and happiness inside. In Ren Shui Qigong, we put a lot of focus and spend a lot of time in learning how to restore what we call our calm, relaxed, natural state. So at the core of each of us, we are all actually in a very calm, relaxed, natural state. And if we have lost that state and we're not calm and relaxed, or maybe we're very stressed or nervous, or we have a lot of tension or anxiety or worry, that means that we have lost our calm, relaxed, natural state. And our job is to do whatever it takes to restore that natural state. So the point I'm wanting to make here is that we don't go and find a natural state. We restore our natural state. There's a big difference. So when we're in our calm, relaxed, natural state, which we can restore through working on ourselves, decreasing stress, doing yoga and qigong, taking care of ourselves, self-care, etc., etc. When we do this, we will move more and more towards an authentic state of happiness. The third treasure is a sense of well-being. So a sense of well-being is a feeling of profound joy and contentment. It is a whole and complete state that encompasses every aspect of life. And health and happiness contribute greatly to the formation of a sense of well-being. So having this sense of well-being is the natural outgrowth of having authentic health and authentic happiness. The fourth treasure is growth. In Ren Shui, the ultimate growth for a human life is attaining a state of realization and wisdom. In this state, the innate abilities of Shen, our true self, manifest consistently and guide all aspects of life. So what we're really here on this earth to do is to grow ourselves, to learn and grow and develop and become a better version of ourselves. And as we do that, we're then able to manifest the fifth treasure, which is contribution. Contribution is living in a way that benefits humanity and nature and helps others achieve the five treasures. It is the way to truly transform humanity and human culture and solve the serious crises and problems which humans are currently facing. So the overriding principle in the Ren Shui system of life cultivation is what is called Zidu Du Ren. Zidu means you lift yourself up, and Du Ren means you help to lift others up. And of course, we can do both simultaneously, because the more we grow, then the more we're able to help others to grow. And it's very symbiotic in nature. So to be able to contribute is not just one of the five treasures, it is what we are here on this earth for. We are here to help our fellow man and nature and animals. This is what we are really here to do. So let me add a few more words about each of these five treasures. As I said before, health refers to the health of the whole life, which consists of three main components: Jing, which is the body, Qi, our energy, and Shen, our true self. Therefore, the health of all three components should be considered when we're wanting to improve our health. So in our Western medical world, most of the focus is on the physical body, and not so much focus is on the mental side of things, the emotional side of things, and definitely not the energetic side of things, which is more in Eastern healthcare approaches. So from the standpoint of the health of the body, what we're meaning here by health is that the body is functioning well. We're experiencing good energy levels. We don't have a major illness, and we're able to heal and rebalance our body fairly effectively. And remember, if we have symptoms, that is a sign that something is out of balance. Symptoms are a call from our body for our attention. That's how our body gets our attention, by sending pain and discomfort. So if we have symptoms, that is our body alerting us to the fact that we need to make some changes. So Qi is said to be in a healthy condition when there is a good amount of Qi, so that's the quantity, and when there is good quality of Qi in the body, and the flow of Qi is not impeded. And of course, if you go to an acupuncturist, they will help you to get your Qi flowing through your meridians in a healthy way. And in Qigong, through doing Qigong exercises, we get to be able to do the same thing ourselves without having to rely on somebody else to do it for us. So Shen, the true self, the basic manifestation of healthy Shen is that we are calm and relaxed and natural, and also unified, integrated, and harmonious. Now, I can't go into explaining that in detail because that would take a few hours, but in short, we want to be in a calm, relaxed, harmonious state. And one of the things that really helps Shen, or the true self, to manifest is to grow what are called the five essential qualities of the heart. And the more we cultivate these five essential qualities, then the more we would experience a calm, relaxed, natural, integrated, unified state. So the five essential qualities of the heart are trust, openness, love, gratitude, and true respect. So in the Ren Shui system, we have specific meditations where we can cultivate and grow and increase these five essential qualities of the heart. So just a few more words on happiness. Happiness is a joyous feeling that arises spontaneously from a relaxed, calm, and natural state. It is not the usual happy emotion experienced when external conditions are satisfied, which is what I was mentioning before. True happiness is a state of being which is unconditional and therefore constantly present. So it is not conditioned on external circumstances. It is coming from within. This happiness arises from the chest, really from the heart, and can be felt in the whole body, as though every cell in the body is smiling. And as one does one's practices, one's Qigong practices, your yoga, your meditation, whatever it is that you do, you will naturally grow this sense of happiness from the inside out. The sense of well-being that we're wishing to cultivate is a strong sense of well-being, a feeling of profound joy and contentment, which freely arises from within. It is a whole and complete state, independent from the influences of external conditions. And as I mentioned before, cultivating authentic health and authentic happiness lead to an authentic sense of well-being. So growth refers to the development of realization and wisdom, which are innate abilities of the true self. Growth is achieved through cultivating the 5 essential qualities of the heart, which I previously mentioned, and also through transforming what are called unhealthy patterns of consciousness. So what are unhealthy patterns of consciousness? Everything that we think and every response we have inside our mind. We have certain thoughts, certain emotional reactions, certain ways of thinking, certain ways of behaving. These are all what are called patterns of consciousness. And our patterns of consciousness can either be healthy or unhealthy. Or we could say they could either be beneficial or non-beneficial. And that means every single thought we have, every feeling or emotion we have, every habit or lifestyle habit that we have, everything is either leading in a beneficial or a non-beneficial direction, either towards ourselves or towards others. In other words, whatever we do in our life, however we think or feel or behave, will either have a beneficial or a harmful effect towards ourselves or others. Now, these patterns of consciousness are also a very big topic, which I'm not going to cover now. But in our Ren Shui Qigong system, we have a specific technique for working on the patterns of consciousness to change them from an unhealthy state to a healthier state. And the prerequisite for doing that work is to work on the heart consciousness first through growing and cultivating the 5 essential qualities of the heart. And as we work on our heart consciousness and we work on our patterns of consciousness, which are more in the mind, we transform ourselves from the inside out. We become a healthier, happier, more productive version of ourselves, which means that we're then able to contribute more to society. So in Ren Shui, the 5th treasure, which is contribution, is how one realizes the value of life. The base of contribution is personal growth. So we have to do our personal growth in order to be able to be more effective in the world at contributing in a healthier, more productive way. So from this foundation, a person can live in a way that benefits society and nature and help others achieve the 5 treasures too. Without contributing, life is incomplete, no matter how much personal growth one has achieved. In other words, it's not enough just to work on ourselves and feel better about ourselves without actually going out and then being able to help others. And in fact, it can become detrimental to do lots of work on ourselves and then not go out and help others in some way, because there is a stagnation inside the body-mind if we're only looking at ourselves and looking to serve ourselves. We need to give out as well. And this is part of the yin-yang cycle, where both parts come together to complete, to make a whole. So without contributing, life is incomplete no matter how much personal growth one has achieved. Contribution is the ultimate expression of the treasures. It is also the way to truly transform humanity and human culture and solve the serious crises and problems which humans currently face. So, if we really want to change our world and transform all the problems that we can see in any area of society, it doesn't matter what area of life you're wanting to change, the real change is going to come through doing the inner work and uplifting ourselves and then uplifting others, doing the Zidu Du Ren. So, if these qualities, these 5 essential qualities and these 5 treasures are natural to all humans, why are they not present more often? Well, it comes back to our unhealthy patterns of consciousness and how these unhealthy patterns of thinking and behaving interfere with the manifestation of our true nature. So basically what we're saying here is that if we have unhealthy patterns of consciousness, and just to give an example of some of the 10 fundamental patterns, they could be greed, selfishness, competitiveness, negativity and pessimism. These are just a few of the 10 fundamental unhealthy patterns of consciousness. If lots and lots of humans are running around with these unhealthy patterns at work inside of them, then we're not going to have a healthy society. Because society is the sum total of all the individuals in society. The second reason that we may find that we're not experiencing these 5 treasures is that most people are seeking the treasures externally. In other words, they're trying to seek happiness and fulfillment through what they're doing in their everyday life, whether that is through their work, through relationships, or through some sort of distraction, even if that distraction may be healthy, like, say, doing sport. We have our addictions, we have our distractions, and we're trying to seek satisfaction and fulfillment through external seeking. But authentic happiness and health and well-being can only be found through doing the internal change work and transforming the unhealthy patterns of consciousness and cultivating the 5 essential qualities of the heart. So when we're seeking our treasures externally, this approach will be ineffective and ultimately detrimental to ourselves, others, and the planet. So in the Ren Shui system of life cultivation, we take an internal approach to seeking these treasures. Through changing unhealthy patterns, we clear the way for our true nature to express itself. And of the 5 treasures, the last 2, growth and contributing, are the most important. But of course, in order to reach those 2, we have to first cultivate the first 3. So I hope this has given you some food for thought on recognizing how much you are cultivating your 5 essential qualities of the heart and the 5 treasures of life. I look forward to seeing you in another episode. This is Kim, the Kiwi Health Detective, root cause and lifestyle medicine practitioner.